The movie starts with a woman pulling up at a gas station in the middle of the desert to fill up her car. She's on the phone with someone and says, "The gas pump isn't accepting my card. I'll go inside and see if I can find someone." She walks over and tries to open the door, but it's locked. When she goes back to her car, she finds her door wide open, like someone had broken into it. Scared, she cautiously approaches the car, and suddenly a girl appears in front of her, startling her. The girl says, "Please help me. Just give me a ride somewhere safe." The driver is visibly terrified of her. To understand how we got here, we flash back 9 hours earlier. Charlie and her fiancé Aiden are on a road trip to attend her father's funeral, which is in a remote area. Charlie's watching old home videos of her dad teaching her how to become a wildlife photographer when she was little. She tells Aiden, "There are so many videos of me and Dad, I don't know which one to post." Aiden replies, "Once we get there, we'll watch them all together, and I'll help you decide." Charlie says, "But you didn't really know my dad." He responds, "Maybe not, but I know his daughter, and she's an amazing person." Seeing her upset, he tells her, "I promise you won't go through this alone." Charlie says, "I left him. I went off to college and focused on my studies. Do you think I abandoned him?" Aiden reassures her, "Of course not. You chased your dreams, and now you've got a great job offer in California." While they're talking, a red pickup truck suddenly cuts them off, nearly causing an accident. Charlie turns to Aiden and says, "I think we're both exhausted. Let's stop and get some rest at the next rest area." Aiden agrees, "Good idea, and I can charge the car too." They pull into a diner connected to a gas station, but Aiden can't find a charging port for his electric car. He tells Charlie to head inside while he looks for one. Charlie goes into the diner, and soon Aiden joins her to let her know there's a charging station about 5 kilometers away. While they're talking, he gets a call from work but chooses not to answer. So Charlie tells him, "You've been working on that project for a long time. Don't let it slip away. Go ahead, sweetheart, take the call." When Aiden steps away and leaves her alone, Jack shows up. He gives off a very unsettling vibe. He says to her, "You think there's a lot of options around here or something? There's only 2 kinds of water you'll find, and don't count on them being fresh either." Charlie replies, "Well, you better be careful or you'll end up with food poisoning." He says, "You're not from around here, are you?" She tells him, "No, just passing through." He introduces himself, and when she goes to pay for her things, he notices the ring on her finger and says, "Your fiancé's a lucky man." He warns her that the signal's weak around here. Charlie starts feeling very uneasy around him. Jack doesn't let her pay and covers the bill himself. When Aiden returns, Charlie tells him Jack already paid. Aiden tries to give him the money, but Jack refuses and just says, "Just take care of her." As they walk out, they notice Jack owns the red pickup truck that had cut them off earlier, and that seriously worries them. On the way to the car charging station, Charlie asks Aiden, "Are you sure we're even going the right way? We're literally in the middle of the desert." Aiden says, "The GPS says this is the route," but shortly after that, the car's battery dies. Charlie says, "I think this dirt road drained the battery faster." She gets out of the car and tries to find a signal, but there's no service. They stand there, hoping a car will pass by. One car does drive past, but it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. Aiden tries to reassure her, saying, "Don't worry, we still have 2 days until your dad's funeral." Then he asks, "So, what's your plan after the funeral?" She says, "Nothing much, just sell the house and the land." Then she adds, "Wait, are you trying to distract me from the fact that you got us stranded in the desert?" He asks, "Is it working?" She says, "A little, but right now, the most important thing is getting me to that funeral." As they're talking, another car shows up. Aiden flags down the car, and a woman named Lena steps out. He explains to her that their car's battery has died. Lena tells them, "Unfortunately, there's no EV charging station anywhere nearby, but there's a mechanic named Owen not too far from here. He's got a charger." Charlie asks if she can call him, and when Lena does, Owen tells her he'll be there in about an hour to pick up the car. Lena offers to give them a ride to a diner so they can grab something to eat and get out of the sun, but Charlie politely declines, saying, "It's okay, we'll wait here until the mechanic shows up." Aiden turns to her and says, "Go ahead, sweetheart. Get out of the heat. I'll wait here for the mechanic. Just make sure to order for me too, and I'll meet you at the diner." In the car, Lena tells Charlie, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine," and turns on some music. Charlie reacts, "This is me and my dad's favorite song." Lena says, "Sounds like you were really close to your dad." Charlie explains that she's actually on her way to his funeral. Lena apologizes and asks, "Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?" Charlie replies, "Dallas. I've got a job offer from a law firm in California, and I'm not sure I'm gonna take it." Lena asks, "Are you not sure, or is he not sure?" Charlie says, "Aiden's been at his job for 10 years, and I don't feel right asking him to move with me and leave it all behind." Lena responds, "I used to always tell my daughter, do what you want, and everything else will fall into place." Charlie looks at her and asks gently, "You have a daughter?" Lena, with sadness in her voice, says, "Had. She passed away 2 days before her wedding." Charlie immediately apologizes. "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up." Lena says, "That's life. There's nothing we could have done to stop what was meant to be. But I'm really glad I got to meet you, Charlie." When they get to the diner, Charlie thanks her and tries to pay for the ride, but Lena refuses and says, "Save that for your father's funeral. I'm sure he's incredibly proud proud of you. Charlie heads inside, where she's immediately approached by a drunk guy who starts bothering her. She brushes him off and keeps walking. She sits down at a table, and the waitress comes over to take her order. Charlie asks for 2 slices of pie, one for her and one for her fiancé. When she asks if they serve espresso, the waitress tells her there's a cafe down the street with all kinds of coffee drinks, and they've got free Wi-Fi too. Charlie eats her sandwich and keeps waiting for Aiden, but he's taking longer than expected. She steps outside to use a phone booth since there's no cell signal, but when she calls his number, it goes straight to voicemail. She leaves a message saying, "I've been waiting for an hour, and you're still not here. Call me as soon as you get this. I'm really worried about you." Just then, Rachel walks into the diner and asks the waitress if she knows a mechanic named Owen. The waitress says, "I think I've got his number, but it looks like someone's waiting for you at your table." Rachel lights up, thinking it's Aiden, but when she gets to the table, it's Jack. He asks her, "Where's your fiancé?" She says, "He'll be here any minute." Jack smirks and asks, "You sure about that?" Charlie grows uneasy and asks, "What do you mean?" He says, "Just that. I don't see any car outside." She replies, "He's on his way." Jack leans in and says, "He really left you here all alone in the middle of nowhere? If I were him, I'd never let you out of my sight." Then he grabs her hand and says, "If I were in his shoes, I'd never let you go." Charlie pulls back and says, "Please let me go," and almost sprays him with her pepper spray. Jack laughs and says, "Relax. I scared you, didn't I?" At that moment, Charlie spots the mechanic arriving in Aiden's car. She tells Jack, "Told you my fiancé was coming," and walks away. But when she gets to the car, Aiden's not inside. She quickly asks Owen, "Where's my fiancé?" He tells her, "I don't know. When I got there, the car was just sitting there with the key inside. No one was around." Charlie starts panicking and asks, "You're sure you didn't see anyone?" Owen replies, "Nope. That'll be $150. When she notices he's got a working phone with reception, she borrows it to call Aiden again, but his phone is still off. She leaves another voicemail saying, "I'm really worried. Please call me as soon as you get this." Owen tries to calm her down, saying, "It's a small town. Don't worry about your boyfriend." He then hands her a form and asks her to sign a document. Charlie heads back into the diner. Jack is gone. She asks the waitress where he went, and the waitress tells her he left right after you did. That raises even more suspicion in Charlie's mind, especially with how strange and aggressive Jack had been acting. She decides to go to the police station and file a missing person report. The officer asks, "Do you have any proof your fiancé was harmed or taken against his will? Or maybe he left on his own," the officer suggests. "Maybe you two had a fight or something, and your boyfriend just needed a little space." Charlie quickly responds, "No, we didn't fight, and I know my fiancé. He would never leave me alone like this." But the officer continues treating the situation casually, almost dismissively. Charlie frowns and says, "Why are you asking me all these weird questions? Why don't you go ask Jack? I've been suspicious of him ever since he showed up. His behavior was totally off." The officer replies, "No way Jack would hurt anyone. I've known him for a long time. He's a good guy. Sure, he can come off a little strong with women sometimes, but he's harmless." Charlie pleads with him, "Please, can we just go look for Aiden? Maybe we'll find him, or find something that can tell us where he went." The officer finally agrees and takes her to the spot where the car broke down. While walking around, Charlie suddenly spots Aiden's AirPods on the ground. She picks them up and says, "These didn't just fall here by accident. He must have been attacked. They probably fell during the struggle." Without waiting, she runs off into the desert alone to search for Aiden. In the middle of the desert, she sees a deer and is flooded with memories of her father teaching her how to photograph wildlife. She remembers him saying, "Focus, stay calm, let it feel safe around you, and when the moment is right, take your shot." Suddenly, the sound of a gunshot jolts her back to the present. The officer shows up and tells her, "This is a hunting zone. We need to get out of here." Charlie says, "What if one of the hunters shot him?" Then she takes off again, determined to keep searching. She finds a hunting camp and asks one of the hunters, "Have you seen my fiancé? He went missing." The hunter tells her, "I saw someone matching that description about 2 hours ago." The officer joins in and begins questioning the man further. In that moment, Charlie seizes the opportunity to sneak past them and enters a nearby trailer, hoping to find Aiden inside. But it's empty. There's no sign of him. The officer catches up with her and leads her out, saying, "Let's go." Charlie looks at him and says, "So that's it? There's nothing else we can do?" The officer shrugs and says, "Your mechanic friend probably took too long, so your boyfriend wandered off and got lost." Charlie replies, "But that should make you more worried. Why aren't you taking this seriously?" The officer answers, "I've done my part, but I'll send a drone to scan the area, just in case. So the best thing you can do now," the officer tells her, "is get some rest at a motel or diner until your fiancé shows up." Charlie heads back to the diner and asks the waitress if she's seen her fiancé. The waitress replies, "No, I haven't seen him at all." Then a man sitting nearby sipping apple juice, overhears and says, "I saw your fiancé last week." The waitress rolls her eyes and says, "You've had enough to drink for today. Time to go." Suspicious and desperate, Charlie follows the man outside to ask more, but he disappears. Suddenly, she spots Jack approaching and hides behind a car to avoid being seen. But he notices her anyway and walks over with a smug look. She confronts him. "What did you do to Aiden, my fiancé?" Jack shrugs and says, "Told you already. The guy left you." Charlie snaps. "If you've hurt him, I swear you'll pay for it." Jack insists, "I didn't do anything. Why don't we sit in my truck and search for him together?" Charlie backs away, saying, "Stay right there," and runs. Jack chases after her, shouting, "You want to know what I did, Charlie? Nothing. You're completely insane." Then he turns and walks off. Charlie calls after him, starting to second-guess herself. What if he really was just trying to help? Suddenly, Lena shows up. Before Charlie can react, Lena hits her in the head with a wrench, knocking her unconscious. While unconscious, Charlie flashes back to a memory of her father teaching her, "You can always find your way by following the sun. You'll never be lost if you do that." She regains consciousness tied to a chair, with Lena sitting across from her. Charlie groggily asks, "Where's my fiancé?" Lena calmly replies, "He's in a safe place, or at least safe for now." Charlie demands, "What do you want from me?" Lena says, "There's something I need from you. If you do it, everything will be fine." Charlie asks, "And if I don't?" Lena calls out, and Owen the mechanic enters the room. Lena assures her, "Don't worry, just do what I say and no one gets hurt." Then she drops the bombshell. "I want $1.5 million as ransom for your boyfriend, or he dies." Charlie panics. "I don't have that kind of money," she says. But Lena smirks. "You don't. But what you don't know is your father sold all his assets and deposited the money in an account under your name." Under pressure and terrified for Aiden's life, Charlie agrees to transfer the money. "Fine, but I can't send it online." They told her, "Yesterday, you signed papers confirming you can make that transfer." When Charlie grabs the phone to connect to the internet, she finds there's no signal. So she says, "How about I go to the coffee shop with free Wi-Fi?" Lena covers her face and agrees to take her there. On the way, Lena tells her, "I'm sure you're going to be a great lawyer. And after all this, I really believe Aiden will agree to move with you to California." Then she grabs Charlie's pepper spray and tosses it into the back seat. Lena drops Charlie off at the coffee shop, but doesn't go in with her. When Charlie seems surprised she's letting her go in alone, Lena says, "I've got eyes everywhere." Inside, Charlie asks the barista if she can use the internet. He tells her she needs to buy something first. She orders an espresso and asks where the bathroom is. He points her to it, and she heads in, checking for a window or any escape route. But there's none. She returns to the cafe and sits down at a computer to transfer the money. She wants to ask for help, but quickly realizes everyone in the cafe is watching her closely. After completing the transfer, she gets up to leave, but discreetly grabs a fork from the bar and slips it into her pocket. Outside, the barista sees her and asks, "Are you okay?" Charlie wants to scream for help, but instead just says, "Yeah, I'm fine." After the barista walks away, Lena immediately searches Charlie and finds the fork in her pocket. "I trusted you," Lena says coldly, "but you're not worth it, Charlie." Charlie ignores the scolding and demands, "Prove to me that Aiden is still alive." Lena calls Owen and makes him put Aiden on the phone. Hearing his voice, Charlie is relieved, but before she can say much, Lena snatches the phone away. They get back into the car so Lena can take her to see Aiden. Charlie asks, "Where is he?" But Lena refuses to answer. "I already transferred the money," Charlie insists. "What more do you want from me?" Lena replies, "The money will take 6 hours to clear. Until it's in my account, you're not seeing Aiden." Charlie then asks her to pull over because she needs to use the bathroom. Lena drives her to Owen's workshop instead. Lena tells her, "Owen's off today. No one's here. Go ahead and use the bathroom." Charlie enters the workshop, frantically searching for anything she can use to defend herself or escape, but comes up empty-handed. When Lena realizes she's taking too long, she walks in after her. That's when Charlie, thinking fast, slams the door and locks Lena inside. She bolts, jumps into the car, and grabs her pepper spray, but the keys are missing. She frantically searches for them, only to see Lena approaching, holding the keys in her hand. Lena forces Charlie out of the car, but Charlie immediately sprays her with the pepper spray, jumps back in, starts the engine, and takes off. Charlie drives straight to the police station to report everything. She tells the officer that Lena kidnapped her fiancé and demanded a ransom. "I already transferred the money," she says. "I need to cancel the transaction before it goes through." But the officer treats her story like a joke, clearly not believing her. Frustrated, she pleads, "How can you not believe me? My fiancé is in danger. We need to save him." The officer stands and says he'll get the sheriff. But Charlie is stunned when she sees who walks out. It's Lena. Lena calmly sits across from her and says, "You know what's stopping me from killing your fiancé? The money hasn't hit my account yet. That gives me a little more time to think about what to do next." In a sudden burst of adrenaline, Charlie jumps up and bolts from the police station. Lena can't catch her in time. As Lena runs into the other officer, she asks him, "What did she tell you? Did she say someone saw her fiancé?" The officer replies, "Wait, you don't believe her story?" Lena responds, "I'm worried she's unwell. and could hurt someone in our town. Meanwhile, Charlie is outside, using the sun's position, just like her dad taught her. To navigate, she tracks her way to Lena's house, certain that's where Aiden is being held. She hides when she spots Owen and sneaks into a garage full of tools and car parts. Owen senses something and searches the area, but she manages to stay out of sight. When Owen goes to meet Lena, who has just arrived, Charlie quietly sneaks toward the house. She hears Lena tell Owen, "Don't worry, no one's going to believe a word Charlie says." Owen replies, "Then we'd better find her fast before she ruins everything." Charlie slips away and starts searching the house. Finally, she finds Aiden, locked inside a room. But just as she's about to go to Aiden, Owen enters and hands him a juice. Charlie freezes in shock as she overhears something she never expected. Her fiancé is in on it. Aiden is part of the setup, working with the kidnappers to blackmail her for money. "You still haven't found her?" he asks. Amelia replies, "Don't worry, we'll get her. Besides, she already transferred the money. It's just a matter of time before you're rich off her account." She takes his bank details to send the money. Owen looks at Aiden and says, "If you two love each other, why didn't you just tell her you needed money?" Aiden answers coldly, "Better if she doesn't know I needed it. That's not the point. The point is that by tomorrow, my bank account's going to be loaded." Owen smirks. "Or tomorrow you'll be behind bars." Aiden laughs. "Nah, jail's for losers." Charlie, still hidden, makes a sound unintentionally, and they hear it. Owen moves to investigate, but Lena stops him and tells Aiden to go instead. Charlie slips into the workshop as Aiden follows her. "Just listen to me," he says. "I lost everything in some bad investments. I had to recover." Charlie stares at him in disbelief. "So you used me? Do you hear yourself?" Aiden pleads. "I swear I was going to multiply the money, make it worth your while. If you want to get out of here, let's take Owen's car and leave this town." Charlie asks, "And what about Lena and Owen? You think they'll just let us walk?" Aiden replies, "They've already taken their cut. We're square." Charlie looks at him with pure disgust. "How could you make a deal with people like that?" Aiden shrugs. "They needed money. I needed money. I came here a week ago and made a deal with Owen to drain the car battery so we'd break down in the desert." Then he starts explaining how he set everything up to manipulate her into transferring the money. Charlie says with rage, "You're disgusting. You don't deserve anything good between us." Aiden tries one more time. "Please, I was desperate. I was going to end up in prison. I needed the money, just like you did." Charlie glares at him. "You think I needed the money? I couldn't care less about any of it." Aiden scoffs. "Then why'd you leave your dad alone? You left to finish school and get that big high-paying job, didn't you?" That was the last straw. Charlie slaps him hard and knocks him to the ground, then angrily pushes a heavy engine hanging above, dropping it near him with a loud crash. "I'm getting out of here," she says through gritted teeth. "I'm going to bury the only person who ever truly loved me. And after that, I'll make damn sure you and your pathetic crew rot in prison." She storms out, leaving him stunned and defeated on the floor. Aiden lifts the engine off himself and limps over to Lena. But instead of helping him, she looks at him coldly and says, "Turns out you're not as trustworthy as we thought," then shoots him dead without hesitation. Meanwhile, Charlie heads back to the police station. The officer there says, "How the hell did you escape from here?" Charlie asks, "Can the sheriff hear what we're saying right now?" He replies, "No. And I've been trying to help you since you got here, but all you've done is scare people, steal cars, and damage property." She says, "Just turn off the security cameras. I'll tell you everything." He agrees, and once the cameras are off, she tells him the whole truth, explaining Lena's involvement in the whole operation. The officer asks, "Do you have any proof of this?" Charlie replies, "No, but I know Aiden is at Lena's house right now." The officer is skeptical and leaves the room. Outside, he runs into Sheriff Lena. "How did she find your house?" he asks. Lena replies, "Sounds like she did a lot of talking." The officer says, "At first, I didn't believe a word she said. I mean, how could the sheriff be involved in something like this? But then she started mentioning specific things, like your house, your farm." Lena narrows her eyes and says coldly, "And what? You're gonna arrest me now?" At that moment, Owen appears from behind and knocks the officer unconscious with a blow to the head. Charlie, who had been listening from behind the door, hears everything. Realizing the danger, she runs before Lena can catch her. She finds a rundown gas station and tries to open door after door, but nothing budges. Then she spots a woman outside, talking on the phone about the gas pump not accepting her card. Charlie sneaks into her car unnoticed but finds no keys and quickly gets out. When the woman returns to her car and sees the door ajar, she panics, thinking someone tried to rob her. She slowly approaches and jumps in fear as Charlie suddenly appears in front of her. Charlie begs her for help, but the woman, terrified, jumps in her car and drives away. Desperate, Charlie smashes the window of the gas station's shop and sneaks inside to use the phone. She calls the police and tells them people are trying to kill her. The dispatcher traces her location and starts transferring the call to the nearest police station. But then, on the other end of the line, Lena picks up. "I'm going to find you, Charlie. It's just a matter of time." Charlie sneaks into the kitchen of the diner and suddenly runs into Jack. He tells her, "I saw the broken glass and came in to check if someone was stealing something." As they're talking, Owen shows up out of nowhere and knocks Jack out from behind. Charlie grabs Jack and they both run to hide from Owen. He starts searching for them, but Charlie surprises him and hits him hard enough to knock him unconscious. As she turns around, she finds Lena standing right in front of her. A fight breaks out between the two women, ending with Charlie landing a powerful blow and escaping with Jack. They head to a junkyard filled with old cars, but Lena is right behind them. While hiding, Charlie remembers her father teaching her how to stay still and unnoticed in nature to capture animals on camera. She tries the same method to avoid Lena, but it fails. Lena spots her and charges. Another brutal fight breaks out. Punches and kicks fly until Charlie manages to knock Lena down and push a heavy tool cabinet onto her. Charlie notices a motor above Lena that's about to fall, and out of pure instinct and kindness, she tries to help her. But Lena, ever the snake, pulls a knife and tries to stab her. Charlie has no choice but to let go, and the pile of metal falls on Lena, finishing her off. Charlie ends up in an ambulance, taken to the hospital. There, the officer visits her and tells her, "We found Aiden. He didn't make it." He also tells her Owen has been arrested and likely won't see daylight again. The officer offers to take her to her father's funeral, but Charlie kindly declines. "I'd rather finish this journey on my own." Later, she attends the funeral, stands quietly, honoring the memory of the man who meant everything to her. She returns home afterward, walking through the rooms filled with memories, collecting a few keepsakes. The film ends with Charlie driving down an open road, playing an old voice recording her father once sent her. In it, he tells her how proud he is of her, how much he loves her. And that brings us to the end of today's movie summary. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to check out the membership tab for exclusive content. This summary was written, voiced, and edited by me. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. I love you all. Goodbye.